Hey everybody, it's Jason again. It's a couple days after the last video that I did, and I just de-skinned the transom, which means that I took the very thin layer of fiberglass off the back of the boat. It caught me in my gear here, duct tape along the neck and eyeglasses stuff. So while I'm saying that, make sure that you get a NIOSH approved filter respirator when you do this. Any kind of fiberglass, man, you don't want to end up killing yourself. Also, I've been using a pair of big goggles because that's pretty much all I had. But one of my friends told me that a good idea also was to wear swimming goggles because it creates that airtight seal around your eyes so you don't get fiberglass in them. But make sure you got a respirator. Make sure you've got some clothes. I mean, you don't have to wear this type of stuff, a suit. I mean, just you're gonna itch unless if you have any exposed skin, it's gonna itch. So you got to get in the shower, cold shower, as cold as you can stand it, and get it all off. I haven't had much problem. I don't have to take an ice cold shower. Just barely uncomfortable, I guess. Just enough to get the fiberglass off. But I mean, if you go and get a suit like this, it's like $10 at Lowe's. I've actually cut this one off. I mean, it's kind of lame, but it used to be a paint suit, but I cut it off right below the zipper so I could zip it all the way up. But it gives my upper body some good protection. But anyway, I just de-skinned the transom, and I'll show you some pictures here. The way I did that was with a chisel and a hammer, pretty much. But I mean, this is a piece of the transom. Right here's the transom, where the engine hooks up to the transom assembly, and the outdrive eventually goes through this keyhole here. But I mean, look how thin this is. I mean, this is like super duper thin. I mean, a couple sheets of paper maybe. But I cut that out, and really can't tell here. Let me grab my light so you guys can see this. It's 12:30 at night, so it's dark, but it's awesome out here. It's like low 70s right now. It's perfect. All right, so headlamps come in handy. I mean, look at this. This is like, that's rotted. I mean, that is so rotted. Right here, check this out. You can't really tell that right there, but and look at that, man. It's just like it's peeling off, just completely peeling off. Next thing, I'm gonna set this thing up here so we can see it. And give me see. There we go. There we go. All right, so transom, just rotted, man. Just rotted, nasty. I mean, just nasty. I can just dig my fingers in. And, I mean, this is what we're looking at here. I mean, just nasty. And that's all around the keyhole. This is the keyhole. Transom assembly goes here, outside. Keyhole, transom assembly hooks on here, and then the outdrive hooks to that, which again the prop would hook to that. So propeller, outdrive, transom assembly, and then the engine, pretty much. I mean, there's a steering assembly in there too, but it's not a big deal. I mean, look at this wood here. It's just this is the wood that's supposed to keep the boat from first sinking and from the engine from falling out the back. And this is nasty. I mean, look at this. I can just mush it. It's just mush. And that's the top. So, I mean, this water was wicking in down here, which was probably where the first spot started. And, I mean, it had to have been because, I mean, look at this. I'm just digging holes in this. I'm just digging it. It's like I can just dig through the transom with my finger. That's safe. So anyway, it must have wicked in here, but I mean it's wicked all the way up to the top of the transom, and not so much over to the corners. I mean, the corners, they're a little wet. I mean, they are a little wet. I mean, it's not like that, but I mean, they're on the first stages of rotting. And this side over here, I mean, it was just, that's the hole that I cut with a razor knife. I cut all the way down to the hull. You're talking about through an inch. Well, realistically, 3/4 of an inch, but it's an inch. A Coro, I think it's called a Coro. Anyway, it's the best plywood that you can get short of marine, in my opinion, because of the research that I've done. It's very good. Has a good face on it. But I mean, with the plywood that you're going to want to look for, if you're going to Lowe's, I mean, don't pay the extra money for marine. If you have the money, whatever, but don't pay the extra money for marine plywood. You can get ACX, which a lot of stores stock. Lowe's and Home Depot, I don't think they stock anymore. What ACX is A is the front side of the board. C, the next letter is the back side of the board, and the last letter tells you whether it's external or internal, or outdoor or indoor. A, obviously, the best you can get. So that's the face side. Cabinets, any kind of display wood, that would be what you would want in A. C, that's the back. So I mean, you think it goes all the way to F, I think is what it was. But anyway, don't quote me on that one. But ACX is what I was looking for. So A, front side best, back side C, which is not bad still at all, and then X, of course, for the external. Couldn't find any. Lowe's did not have it. They replaced it with what they were calling rosewood, and rosewood, from what I understand, is not as outdoor as ACX. It looks okay. I mean, in the end, you're going to be epoxying it, sealing it, and putting fiberglass over it. So, I mean, just what does it matter, right? Anyway, I went with a Corico. I believe that's how you say it. And I actually had some before I even knew it. I mean, I had some that I built this workbench behind. This whole workbench here I built out of that. And I needed a place outside to do this work, so I built a workbench under my carport. And I had a big sheet of this stuff that I didn't realize I had. This stuff's 45 bucks a sheet, and you can get this at Lowe's. 84 Lumber, if you've got one near you, or any kind of specialty lumber yard will probably have ACX. Marine stores like West Marine, and what was the other one? Dang. I forgot what the other one was, but there's another place that sells it too. That helps out a lot, doesn't it? Just look for outdoor. I mean, you'll find something, and if you can't find it, just use the best outdoor plywood that you can find. There's even an option for you to marry some plywood up together if you can't find the right one. So, no big deal. Just look for ACX or a Corico. But anyway, this stuff, I mean, I picked through 3/4 of an inch of plywood with my fingers to the hull. And the reason why was because the previous owner decided that it'd be a good idea to put an aftermarket ladder. And he punctured the hull, sorry, enunciate, punctured the hull right here. Let me see if I can get that better there. Maybe not. This iPhone, man. Alright, punctured a hole right here. Did not put any silicone over it. I mean, these right here, I mean, there's tons of silicone over these bolts right here, which are the trailer tie downs. I mean, tons of silicone over that. So, what I've read and what I'm going to be doing is to waterproof the holes that you drill in your hull is to drill them. Let's just say you're going to put, I don't know, let's just say I'm going to put this ski ring back, which I'm definitely going to do that. So what I would do is I would take the bolts out, these two bolts, and obviously, put the new wood in. And I would drill these holes 2 sizes too big. Yeah, I know, that sounds weird, huh? You're going to drill them 2 sizes too big, and then what you're going to do is you're going to fill those holes with epoxy adhesive. And what you're going to do after it dries is you're going to drill those holes out to the actual size of the bolts, and then you're going to put your bolts through. And what that helps you do is that helps it keep it waterproofed. Because if there is any water wicking around those bolts, which, I mean, up here, not much. I don't think you're going to get much. But while we're doing it, might as well do it to where we're never going to see any water on that thing. So that's the way I'm going to do it. Just to give you an idea again, drill the holes in your hull, if you're going to, 2 sizes too big. Fill it with epoxy adhesive, hard stuff. I mean, if you can get it, you need to get the 404 adhesive, which is the highest density. It's this stuff right here. Blau, West Marine's 404 high density adhesive filler. This stuff right here, it's the highest strength you can buy, but it's the hardest to sand. We're not going to be sanding it, we're going to be drilling it. So get you a metal drill bit, get you a wood drill bit, it'll go through it quickly. So there you go, that's a good way to get through puncturing your hull. But if this guy would have done this, would have done what I just said, or even put silicone around it, then it would have saved that entire side of the transom. I would have had to replace it anyway, but it wouldn't. It may not have been as bad as it was, or is. So, yeah, that's me tearing out the transom. Like I said, I got it skinned right here, so I could see, what it looked like, and it's definitely nasty. It's some nasty stuff. So, yeah, I'm glad I cut it out. It's probably gonna. I mean, I've been doing this with. Let me show you here. Been doing it with this multi-tool. It's super helpful. I mean, I can cut down easy with this thing. I also have a half moon saw blade that I hook to it, and it works out pretty well for the corners. Any kind of corner you need to get into, but this thing will get right up along the edges, and then eventually I'll chisel all of it out, and I just use a 1-inch chisel, and you can use a bigger one. One of the guys whose videos I've seen taking out his transom, he had a 2-inch chisel, and that looked like it worked pretty well. He also had a real big fat breaker bar, or a crowbar, and that probably worked well too. But you got to watch out for those, because in this case, my hull, I mean, you can see right here, you can see through my hull. See, look right here. I mean, that's not thick at all. I mean, you're talking maybe a 1/16 of an inch. So you don't want to pry against something like that, because you'll just pop right through the hole, damage it, crush it. But this guy had an inch or 2, inch and a half of gel coat on the back of his. He had a Bayliner, a newer Bayliner, like a 2009 or something. I guess back in '89 they didn't use 2.5 inches of gel coat. But yeah, so breaker bar works great. Chisel works really well. I mean, I cut with that multi-tool along the edges here to get the top layer of the fiberglass off, just to see where the married edges were, because I've got 2 pieces of plywood here. I've got 2 1-inch pieces, and they're actually 3/4, but 2 1-inch pieces. One all the way again along the back of the boat, and then another one back here where the transom assembly goes, which makes it definitely thicker and a lot more resilient to the weight. But I cut that off, and then I started with a chisel. I went a lot faster taking the wood out with the chisel than I did with that multi-tool, because I mean, the chisel, I'm just kind of prying it out. Make sure that when you do that, you cut relief cuts along the edges so you have something to break too. Otherwise, it'll just go straight down the edge of the boat. I almost made that mistake and just kind of dug it in, but caught myself before I pried too hard. But yeah, that's it. Transom assembly removal. Skin it, see what you got below it. You're probably going to know exactly what you got below it before you skin it, but skin it anyway. See what it looks like. It's easy to take the skin off of a transom, and, best case scenario, you don't have to replace it. You just put you some new fiberglass back on, but if you're taking the skin off of it, you probably know what you got underneath. Good luck.